Hello and welcome to Genie, a podcast. We are no longer limited to just talking about Christina Aguilera, but during the off season, I wanted to talk about anything other than just Christina Aguilera. So in the off season, I bring you Genie, a podcast, the expanded edition. In this first episode of the expanded edition, we're talking to Saige. He is a huge Britney Spears fan. I made a post on Genie, a podcast on Instagram, and it got a lot of hate from the Britney army, and a lot of the comments were uncalled for. This post was 23 years ago. The wounds have not healed with these people. And so this is what we're talking about. This is what the conversation is about. It's Christina versus Britney. And we have a informed adult conversation with Saige. We're very respectful of both fandoms and both artists. In the beginning, we ran into some technical issues. And so the portion of the podcast where we got to know Saige and his fandom for Britney, but also how he makes custom Britney dolls. So definitely go follow him on Instagram. It's at Britney Spears Custom Dolls. He has a great account. He creates these elaborate, beautiful outfits that are like iconic outfits of Britney Spears, and they look so adorable. And then for the Christina side, we also have Corey back from the regular Genie in a Podcast episodes, and we just have a great conversation about why there's still so much animosity between the fighters and the Britney army. It's a long conversation, and we're just going to get right into it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So do you think, because Christina is called frequently a bitch, but that's because she's quick to set up a boundary and also to keep her private life private, it's also been to her detriment that she hasn't let people in, and like her audience hasn't been able to connect her with her as like a lamb has connected with Mariah or the army has connected with Britney.
Yeah, I definitely think that has something to do with it. I do think Christina Aguilera, like you said, she does put up boundaries, and I do think like a lot of the way she presents herself is that boundary, right? So people don't really necessarily feel like they can connect with, and that's just my opinion. They can't just connect with her in the way that someone could connect with Britney Spears or Mariah Carey if we're using them as the main, things to compare to.
Yeah.
But I do feel like sometimes she comes across in a way that is not as open as Mariah Carey and Britney Spears. And that might be her choice, and if that's her choice, then it is what it is, right? But you can't expect people to follow you or have that same, admiration that the other two would. And if that's the boundary you're putting up, I mean, I'm assuming she wants it that way.
Right. Totally. And that would probably be why, I mean, we can be honest and say that she has less fans than Britney
She's less popular.
and Mariah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I would agree.
But I also don't know if that's true, Jen. I don't know. Well, I just think that there are plenty of people that aren't as open with their media. I do think that what Saige is saying is accurate, right? Christina is under less scrutiny by the public because she protects herself. That type of protection doesn't come from not coming from a place of being hurt and being a place of someone taking advantage of you. And I think the difference between Christina and Britney is that when Christina was being hurt in that manner, she was empowered to do something about it, where I think Britney didn't. And we know where that led. And then I don't know, for me, Mariah is very guarded. I feel like Mariah gives us nothing. You know what I mean? So it's kind of interesting because I think more so than Christina, Mariah is pretty guarded. Everything that she does, that she releases on social media, is very calculated,
curated,
and
yes.
thought out. Yeah, nothing is natural. You're not going to get a random candid moment of Mariah Carey. It's going to be perfect lighting. And I think Christina shows us little speckles of that. She'll do montages of her hanging out with her daughter or something, which I think kind of makes her a little bit relatable. But yeah, Christina's very stone faced, and she doesn't really, I don't think people respond to that well. Whereas Britney is so open, but to her detriment. You know what I mean? And it's almost I feel like Britney could have used some coaching to be hey, maybe don't do that. Maybe don't open yourself up to this, because then she gets hurt, and and then people take advantage of her.
Well, I would argue that Mariah Carey also has a decade of a career before those two. So she built her audience in a very different time, where it's not all of that was very Yeah, that it wasn't at like Mariah Carey is just a legend because she's talented, and like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera are both very talented as well, but they came up at a different time. So honestly, like comparing the, I think it'd be better to just stick with Britney and Christina because they did come up at like quite literally they had the exact same career trajectory. Whereas Mariah Carey came up in a very, very different time.
Totally.
Yeah, correct.
And then what were you going to say earlier about how, why is it there's overlap? I feel like for the most part, fighters are also like a Britney army, or at least, listen to Britney hardcore, because I do also, but it's not felt mutually like, why do you think that is? Is it all the screaming?
I think Christina Aguilera's best talent is also her biggest flaw in that Christina Aguilera can sing her ass off, but sometimes, and again, this is just my opinion, but I do think a lot of people will agree with me. It's that sometimes it's like, you don't have to try so hard. Like we already know you're so talented. And like whether Christina Aguilera fans want to admit it or not, like a lot of her singles don't take off. And I think a big part of that, unfortunately, is because as basic as this sounds, it's like you can't put on a lot of Christina Aguilera songs in the car and really sing along to it and sound good and like have a good time, because she has a lot of vocal acrobatics that sometimes I feel like are not necessary. And I especially don't think it's necessary with Christina because we already know. And like one example of that I have to bring up so I don't forget is that song Your Body is like, I honestly think like one of her best songs, and she's still showing her talents, but it's not overdone. And like, I can imagine that she did not like working with Max Martin because I mean, you listen to that song and it's so different. It's so different from all the rest. And you can tell he literally had to be like, let's take it down a notch. I'm going to make you a hit single and it's going to sound great. And you're still really like, you sound amazing. And I think that song, it's really interesting that song didn't take off because I do think it's one of her best because it's not so overdone to the point where it's like, oh my God, it's more of a pain to like sing along to this song than to just not listen to it. Do you know what I mean?
Right. I think something that fighters or just the general audience needs to realize, especially fighters, is that Christina needs to be consistent. Does she want to be a pop star? Because with her vocal acrobatics, she could easily just be a vocalist doing, Adele, like adult contemporary, R&B, anything other than pop music. But yeah, like you were saying, like Candyman also is like great example of what you can sing along to it. It's catchy, but she's still doing her own thing, Your Body. But I don't think she wants to be the pop artist because that means consistently popping out things that's like a Sabrina Carpenter, who is like, she just put out 2 albums and everything, especially as like the record industry is so like volatile. So even she's not consistent with like sales.
Totally. And I do feel like Christina Aguilera has done a lot of really experimental stuff. Bionic, of course, is a really interesting album that I think got overshadowed by a lot of other stuff, but there's still some stuff on there where I'm like, girl, just chill, like just sing the song and like have a good time. We don't need to hear you do 16 runs on one song. The music is already there and it's already great. So you don't need to, I think she does too much sometimes. And I think it's because I personally feel like Christina Aguilera has always felt like she's needed to prove herself in a way that it's like, but not with your singing. Like we already know, like everybody knows that Christina Aguilera can sing really well. I don't know that she knows that. That's just my opinion.
What do you think, Corey?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of like truth to what Saige says. I think Britney's probably, easier to sing along with in terms of that. I think that Britney's probably a little bit more successful than Christina just because she was really packaged like as a product. Like there's a team behind her that's paying like multi-million dollars, for people to write tracks that are going to like scientifically hit on the radio. Whereas like Christina like wants to be more involved in like the artistry of it. I think Britney's more of like a performer, and I don't mean that to sound shady, but like she performs other people's art. They write songs for her, she goes on stage and she performs the hell out of it, and she's content in that. It's like that's what she does in her career. It's very like business forward, where I think is to Christina, I think the process of making music, I think for her is a little bit more personal. And I think a little bit more has to be true to who she is as a person. And sometimes that's not popular. And so like, if you look at Christina, like since Stripped, she's written on almost like every single track on like, you know, when she produces her stuff. And, you know, that's why her, you know, she's very not like under the thumb of like the label. Whereas like Britney was like that for a long time. So it's like, yeah, you've got a team of marketing geniuses like plotting these moves for Britney to go out there and like perform, and she sells it really well. On the flip side, like to play devil's advocate, I do need 16 runs. That's what I'm into. I like the Mariah Careys. I like the Whitney Houstons. I like somebody who's gonna like get on stage and like. Here's the thing too. It's like I can say this. I've went to Britney Spears shows. I've seen Britney live multiple times. Seen her in Vegas live quite a bit. I've seen her on the Femme Fatale tour. I've seen her on the Circus tour. I've seen Britney Spears live. I love what she does. I leave that show feeling so good and like, you know, like it's such a vibe when you're there. It's a party and like there's so much going on the stage, like that it's almost like sensory overload. Like people are like, you know, being hoisted up and like, you know, things are on fire. It's like it's a whole spectacle. Like Britney in her prime, spectacular. But I I will say the mic is always off. And for me, like the parts that I love about Christina shows is like hearing those live vocals. I love it being a little bit different. I love her little like ha's. I love when she messes up lines, like which she does all the time. She has this like when like the mic isn't like something malfunctions on the mic and she has that moment, you know. You're not going to get that at a Britney Spears show because like it's pre-recorded vocals. So it's like for me, I don't know. I guess what I think it's just kind of like what you value more. And like I feel like when you listen to a Christina Aguilera album, I feel like you get to know her a little bit more like that. You're not going to get to know Christina through the media, through her interviews, through social media, like you are Britney Spears. You're going to get to know Britney Spears like that. You're going to get to know Christina through her music. And I feel like when you listen to like an album like Liberation, or when you listen to an album even like Bionic or Stripped, I feel like you walk away getting to know a little bit about what she's been through, like over that past couple of years of making that album. And she puts her heart and soul into that. And I don't know, for some reason, it just doesn't resonate with people. Some people just, and I think it's because Christina does have that, like, you know, it could be also that like Britney grew up in the South, right? Like her raising, she's got that like Southern charm about her, and she's cute as a button. Christina grew up in like, she was born in like Staten Island, Pennsylvania, very New England, you know, and you know how those people are, right? Like they're like very like, go get the car, you know, like they're very like stern, and they get to have that like New England, like New York state of mind. And so, yeah, she's a little bit guarded, and I feel like she's not as warm as Britney. And so
well,
I think
also
that
because of her, I think what set up Christina to still like to end up being like the bitch or the guarded person that she is, but also it was also her best asset going into, you know, protecting herself against like the media or like her first manager who was taking advantage of her. Because she wasn't naive, she was guarded from her, she couldn't even trust her father. Whereas,
well, neither could Britney.
Like Britney, yeah. Oh well, we didn't know that. She didn't know that at the time.
So much
That's probably why
she.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think they would, though. Here's the other thing. Like, I do think Christina has some really nasty things to say about Britney Spears, but I do think that their feud has definitely been way over exaggerated. I don't think these girls are going to ever see each other, you know, in downtown LA and beat the shit out of each other. You know, I think they would be nice to.
I hate that.
I don't see Christina. I don't see Christina also being rude to her. It's interesting that you guys you keep referencing like she's trying to protect herself, but in my opinion, I don't know that Christina did a great job protecting herself with the whole Britney thing, because to me, I feel like she really set herself up to only be asked about Britney Spears, because every time someone did ask her about Britney Spears, she had a snarky comment to say back. And it's like, okay, understand her frustrations, but you doing that is just going to make interviewers or whoever's like talking to you, they want to get that headline that you hate her. And thus far, you do give them that. So it's like what you should have done, in my opinion, is just not, you know, you can say things without anything. She comes, don't say anything. Just say she's a really I mean, and if we're being real here, you go watch the footage of Britney being asked about Christina, and she really did take the correct route with that.
The politically
she just said,
correct.
she's got a lovely voice,
route.
but it's tasteful. And
but
I also think
correct,
like at the end of the day, like when we're talking about, I don't know why Christina's music doesn't resonate so much with everyone as much as Britney Spears. It is because when you look at the basicness of Britney Spears' music in the best way possible, like, yes, these are hits and it's pop music that everyone is going to listen to. Whereas Christina Aguilera, I feel like she really started doing her own thing really early on. I mean, Stripped, to follow up your debut with Stripped is like pretty ballsy, and it kind of separated her from all of that. And I do feel like for a while, her talking about Britney Spears is what was keeping her relevant. And I just feel like had she taken a nicer route with things, like maybe people wouldn't have been so immediate to ask her about Britney Spears. But again, Hollywood is so shady that they're going to ask her that because they know she's going to say something bitchy back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Our conversation is too hot to handle.
It's so heated. Yeah, it's not. I mean, I think it's fine. I think it's honest.
Oh, totally.
And like, I like Christina Aguilera. I do feel like she didn't, when it comes to like, I don't even want to say it's on PR training, because I'm sure they were like, don't do that. don't say that, but it's like she did. And again, he's so right. Like, she hasn't said anything like recently. I know, like,
in so many years,
and I think they come together though. Like they're as like acts that grew up and came up at the same time. Like, they're always going to be compared to each other. And I do think she's tried really hard to have more politically correct and nicer answers about her. But obviously she's still getting frustrated about it. And it's like, just embrace it, girl. Like, just embrace it. It's not going to hurt you to, be nice about Britney Spears. Because, I mean, Britney never really said anything about her during this time. And it is like sometimes, especially like when she kissed Madonna, I just feel like the one time that I was like, girl, you're a hypocrite. Like, she's calling Britney and Madonna's performance at the VMAs a gimmick. But like, when Britney's like, she kissed her too. She literally did. Right. It's not Britney Spears' fault or Madonna's fault that MTV decided to pan over to Justin Timberlake. They have no control over that. Zero. If they did, there would be no point in her kissing Christina to begin with, right? And it's just like, well, but you did it too.
That is so true. And I think she was definitely salty. The best.
Salty.
She was definitely like bitter just because of how MTV handled that situation.
And would she have been? Let me say this: would she have been bitter had her kiss been broadcasted? I don't think so.
No.
And it just seems like she was pissed that the gimmick didn't work for her and it worked for them, and it's like understandable. Like, that should have been a big moment. That should have been a big moment for all three of them.
And I think it's another time in her life where something has been, oh shoot, we have to get you in on this, Corey.
Oh yeah, okay. Sorry. I'll say it again. Do you want me to say it again? All of your last stuff cut off. Do you want to say that again?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, like, the question that like I had, like, based off of that was just that like my perception of like that is 100% accurate. Like, I feel like Christina did say a lot of like really like shady stuff about Britney, like for like very specific like period of her career, like between like, I don't know, like 2002, 2003, like that's like the area when that basically like took place. And I would challenge like anyone to find something that Christina has said directly, after that period about Britney Spears that was like perceived as negative. But what she said in that period was like so strong that like it stuck with people for so long. And I think, I don't know, I feel like most people didn't respond to it very well. But I think what it was is like, at least in my opinion, was like Christina Aguilera just like constantly being like compared or pitted against Britney Spears like over and over. Like, I feel like that was like her way of like just distancing herself from her by like, I feel like that was the way she like defended that. And she was young. What she like was 22 at the time, 22, 23. She was like trying to like be taken serious as an artist. She didn't want to be compared to Britney Spears. It didn't really happen on the Britney Spears side, but on the Christina Aguilera side, like every interviewer was like, Christina did a video with Madonna. What did you think about that? Britney Spears is dating this guy. What did you think of that? And it's just like, she constantly is being asked about it. I would assume it would get on her nerves. She's trying to like talk about her own music, and then they bring up Britney Spears. It's so insulting. So I feel like that was like her response, and I don't think it was a correct response. I think that Christina either realized that at some point or was like coached by her PR people to be like, don't do that. And I feel like it kind of like, I don't know. For me, it's like on the Britney Spears side, her fans just seem to like not be able to get over that. And we're in 2025. This was like over 20 years ago. But like, they still have such a grudge about that they've completely closed off the opportunity of embracing Christina Aguilera whatsoever. And it's like, it's crazy that like stuck so well with them. And I just wonder like what it is that like you can't get past it.
Well, I certainly am not like part of that, Twitter presence that is going to come at Christina Aguilera for that kind of thing. Cause yes, they are so young that it's like, who fucking cares? Like really, it doesn't matter. But I do think people are very protective over Britney, and
totally.
I know that Christina hasn't really said much about her, but she's done little things where it's like, you're going to go on X Factor and imitate Britney Spears' singing voice. Not necessary, girl. It's not necessary, because we know that you're making fun of her. And it's like, it's funny, like, right? I laughed, but a lot of people don't look at things like that. They're so they want to defend Britney so bad. So it's like, when's Christina Aguilera had her last hit? Like no one can answer that. It's like not necessary for someone to say that, but it's also not necessary. She does keep it going, because she did a whole promo for the X Factor where she's dressed up as Britney Spears, like imitating her singing. And it's like, was that a smart choice? No, because you're making fun of her.
Saige. No, that was like a little fun giggy thing. She also did Cher during it,
and Shakira,
she did
and Lady Gaga.
Well, right, but if she wants to separate her, I'm just saying, if she wants to separate herself from that, if she wants to separate herself from, it's like, you're just asking for it. And I'm not saying, I get it. It's a joke. It's a parody. It's like, it's cute, but unfortunately, we live in a time where a lot of people on the internet are not going to care about that, and she should know that by now. That's just my opinion.
Especially because, like, I think in the same way that like a Nicole Scherzinger did the same thing, it's not going to hit the same way that Christina doing it will hit, because there's already that animosity between the two like fandoms and themselves.
It just sparks it again, right? It just sparks it again.
Kind of.
Because it's like leading, other celebrities,
potential.
Like every celebrity does a Britney Spears. Like, Ariana Grande did it on SNL when she was like,
"Oh, she did,
baby," and she was like,
for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's just different when Christina Aguilera does it,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like something like about that.
And again, I'm not insulted by that. I'm like, oh my God, like that's so cute. Like whatever. She's just being silly, right? But she also knows that people are going to talk about this. I mean, props to her. But I feel like nothing you were saying is wrong at all. I just think we live in a really shitty time where people just think this is something so easy for people to grasp onto and be like, she's still a bitch, and it's like, oh yeah, she can't do anything. So it's like, why even mention her at all? Just don't even go there, is what my advice to her would be. Because people are gonna, if there's one thing I have learned through my years in the Britney Spears army, is like, these people are hardcore and they will come at anyone for coming at her, because and I think there's a lot of really tacky things that some Britney Spears fans do, and I'm not here to defend that, but I do think a lot of people, they kind of get away with it because it's like, no one has anything bad to say about Britney Spears. No one does. And a lot of people have bad things to say about Christina Aguilera. And it's not just Britney fans. I mean, there's been Mary J. Blige. Oh, I have no respect for that woman. She works with terrible people. But she has a point. She has a point where she's like, yeah, Britney Spears is a nice girl. She's going to go further than you because she's a nice person. And we've got, I mean, Christina Aguilera is on a lot of people's shit lists, and it's like, I think it did spark from the Britney Spears thing, but you can't.
Well, also,
they do. And
Mary J. Blige has since rescinded that. It was a
okay. Well, she's probably
miscommunication.
A lot of shit.
Christina, though.
Well, JoJo.
Oh yeah, she did. Well, was she mean to her?
JoJo.
If you're a mean person, like,
said that she was like
that's
cold.
my thing with Christina.
Mm-hmm.
I just think she thinks she's like above people.
I don't know what that is, man. Like, there's a lot of like celebrities who have had run-ins with Christina where they're just like, she was rude. And I don't know that like Christina's like trying to be rude, or if she's just like, I just feel like she's very guarded. And like I would only assume that she's like that because there's been people who must have hurt her. You learn that as like a survival tactic, right? Like you learn to be like that, and standoffish because you've been hurt in some way. And so Christina's very private, so she doesn't share a lot of those things that like other celebrities do. Mariah, like, not to go back to Mariah, but like Mariah talked about like her marriage to Tommy Mottola and how like controlling and mind fucking that was for her. We know about what the terrible things that happened to Britney Spears, which like the dynamic on that Britney Spears thing is like so sick because like not only like were you doing this to somebody that you should love and protect, but then like for the fans, and I don't know how you feel about this, Saige, but like I've thought about this with my husband. I'm like your guys' love for Britney Spears also kept her in slave chains. Like if you think about it, the more you guys buy tickets to go see her shows, the more you purchase her merchandise, like during that time that she was in that conservatorship, you're fueling the flame that is like the reason behind her doing this. I watched this like thing with Lou Taylor that like made me sick to my stomach to this day when they were talking about like Britney Spears touring, and someone says they're picking dates, and someone's like, "Oh, December 2nd, there's this date," and Lou Taylor goes, "Oh, put Britney down for that date," and someone goes, "No, that's Britney's birthday," and she's like, "She'll work, she'll do 2 shows." Like it was just so like disgusting to like just like on a personal level to like for her to have like no control over. And I just can't like, I mean, my heart goes out to her fans to like think that like the thing that makes you guys like feel alive is also hurting her. And that's a really weird like paradox to be in. And so like,
well, I mean, it is weird. And I would argue that like I didn't know about all the ins and outs of what was going on. So I don't think it's fair to put that on her fans, because we were told everything was fine. We were being shown that she's doing this and she is killing it in Vegas, and she is going on her 3rd world tour since whatever. And it's like, great. Like she's doing well. She's doing all these interviews. She looks great. She sounds great. She can be a little awkward, but who can't? But I don't think that for me, at least, like it's not something that I was like, I don't.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. And how are we supposed
to those shows too?
Right. How would I know that all of this was going down, when it's like, yes, she's in this conservatorship, but she seems to be thriving. So it's just, I feel
There's
like
a lot of gaslighting.
we were played and gaslit until the cows came home. And it's like, okay. And then once we found out what was going on, it's like, unfortunately, sometimes someone has to see these. Once we heard about all this, it was like, oh my fucking God, like this is so fucked up. But like, I don't put the blame on any of her fans because I don't think we knew.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't either.
Like, I wouldn't have put it on either. So like, that's like, so that it comes like to like around to this thing where it's like, and when that Latin Grammys thing happened, when like they asked Christina about like the Britney Spears thing, and Christina kind of like brushed it off, and it was seen as so shady. And then like Britney was like, she knew what was going on. I was like, did she? Because like as Saige just like demonstrated for us, not even her fans knew what was going on. So it's like, I feel like it's weird to like put Christina like in a spot where she like had to like somehow like speak on something that was so personal, right? Like it was so personal. That's so, and then it was brand new, and like to like put her on the spot and like try to like get her to like answer a question like that and then like come back at her. I just thought it was really unfair. And I've always been like, so like, at least on the Christina side, like that was like always my stance, was just like to put Christina like in like a box where she was like expected to speak about something like that a lot of people had nothing to know about. Her fans didn't know. I didn't know. I went and seen all of those shows. My favorite Britney Spears album is Femme Fatale. Like I love that album. I had no idea what was going on with her, that she was like forced to put it out, and like all the stuff that came out afterwards. But I don't know. I just think it was kind of like a little unfair to her to like do that, and she got a lot of crap for that. And like, so I was just always curious to hear like what Britney Spears fan side was on that, like in particular.
Like with that most
like,
recent
did you see that as like shady?
I mean, recent. It was like,
yeah,
so
like
here's the deal. I'm not
goodness.
gonna. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. So I mean, I don't think it's fair for any of us to look at what Britney Spears says on Instagram and think, I mean, truthfully, we have no idea what's happening with her right now. And it's not our place to be looking at that anymore. This is how I feel. It's like every day someone asks me what's going on with Britney Spears. And it's like, I don't know. And so I know there's lots of speculation on her mental health and whatever. And was that a very nice thing of her, Britney Spears, to say? Absolutely not. But I also think, and I'm actually not going to defend her for that, because I can't defend that kind of behavior, and I can't defend it with Christina Aguilera fans either. But I do think, and maybe not Christina Aguilera specifically, I do feel like she kind of came at her for no reason. But I think Britney Spears, seeing as what she has gone through, is like, I mean, you're talking about someone who lost their rights for 13 years and like no one did anything for her. And it is no secret that people in Hollywood do know what was happening with Britney Spears. I don't know if Christina Aguilera is one of those people. But there is what blows my mind is that obviously all the fans are being gaslit and being told everything's all right. People did know, and people should have spoken up way sooner to get that information out. People knew for years what was happening with Britney Spears, but they didn't want to say anything because they are working in an industry that is so shady. When you have people up here, at the top threatening people's careers, and it's Christina Aguilera in a position where if you say something about her, we're going to pull your next record. I'm just saying, like, and again, I don't know that Christina knew, but I would assume that they kind of run in the same circles when it comes to their careers. So I think like Britney Spears probably blames a lot of people. Yes, blames a lot of people for not speaking up for her, because she knew the fans didn't know. Like, we didn't know what was going on. We could not do anything. Yeah, but I know for a fact that there were people in the industry that did know what was going on with her, and it should have been brought up way sooner. Is that an excuse for her to go off on Christina Aguilera on Instagram? Absolutely not. But you have to remember the position that Britney Spears is in now. That, the other thing that really irritates me is like, you end this conservatorship and you just throw her out there. That's like, good luck, girl. It's like, nobody is going to handle that. No one is going to handle that well, especially Britney Spears. Everyone's like, oh, she was controlled for 13 years. It's like, no, she was controlled since she was like 10 years old. She has never had any, and that's where it's like, I'm sure that Britney Spears is very envious of Christina Aguilera and how she's been able to do her own thing and, have credit cards and make her own decisions. And it's like, you have to realize, like, and I think that's why the fans get so defensive of her, because it's like, we have no idea what that's like, and I just think if there were people that knew what was going on, like, shame on them for not saying anything sooner. But I'm not saying Christina Aguilera did. Yeah. From what I hear, it's not easy to get in touch with Britney Spears. I'm sure people have tried.
Oh, it's not. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Like, Britney Spears seems like so uber protected now, and like she's like wants to be in her own happiness because she's been like, controlled for so long. So I don't know. I see her go out and she's like in Mexico and with like different guys, and I'm like, girl, do your thing, live your life, make up for the years that you.
I just think it's so wild.
With that social media post for for whenever she was walking the Latin Grammys, was it also opportunistic of then Lady Gaga and then Britney to then repost it, because there's all that.
Did Lady Gaga get involved with that? I don't even remember. Yeah,
because right after she, vilified Christina for not speaking out and for, posting about her, she then reposted or whatever Lady Gaga's story, which was, free Britney. I'm so happy that you're here and you're free and you can speak. And she's like, thank you so much, Lady Gaga. You've always been there for me and this and that. I'll find the screenshot and I'll post it above us. But yes.
No, I think that you're right. And like, I was kind of a little bit appalled by it as well. Not just because like, it just felt like kind of like an attack to like Christina, like it, like digging in a little bit more, but like, I thought it was opportunistic because, Lady Gaga was promoting that terrible Gucci movie at the time. And like, it's like and like literally the Britney Spears thing, she had just like got free from the conservatorship. So that was like, Britney was on everybody's lips. She was like the hottest topic. So it's like, what better way to like get news out there to circumvent your movie than to tie yourself to Britney Spears. And I think that's what Christina was trying not to do in that moment, was attach her Spanish language album Aguilera, which is why she was at the Grammy, she was promoting it, to the tragedy that was the Britney Spears case. And I think that was like her way of like trying to like stand with her. That's just my opinion. I don't know. There's no facts on that. That's just kind of what I felt like in that moment. But then the curious thing about it is like Saige talked about it a little bit. And I don't know if you guys remember this, and Saige, you'd probably know better than anybody else. But like, I sort of kind of remember like a barbecue between like Lou Taylor, Britney Spears' dad, and Lady Gaga, like at the heart of like I think Lady Gaga went to like a Las Vegas show of Britney Spears, like during one of her residencies. And then later, like there was like some type of like a barbecue that like took place afterwards. And like Lady Gaga sitting at like a table with Britney Spears' dad and Lou Taylor, and Britney is like nowhere in sight. And I thought, like, why is Lady Gaga eating dinner with Britney Spears' dad? And like, how would she have not known about the conservatorship? So like, I did think that it was like a little bit like, ugh, to me. And I don't know if like
I do remember
Lady
her
Gaga
saying
is,
something
managed by Lou Taylor, but she may be. I don't know.
I don't think she is. I do remember her saying, I don't know that there was any connection with Lou Taylor there. I know that Lady Gaga said, and I have to be very careful of what I say about Lou Taylor. I hate her. And so that's how it is. I think she's an awful person, and justice should be served. And I think her day will come, but I don't remember Lady Gaga ever. I know she said something about eating Britney Spears' dad's barbecue, but I think when you look at Hollywood, just because someone isn't managed by someone doesn't mean there's not connections or opportunities there. I do think the Britney Spears ordeal has perhaps impacted Lou Taylor's business, as it should. But obviously not as much as it should. She's still running a business. I personally don't feel like she should be able to run a business. But I think there's a lot of connections with Lou Taylor that aren't necessarily because an artist or a celebrity is managed by them. I think she's just a powerhouse name in the industry. And that's the other thing where it's like people must know what she's doing. And I think I would be surprised to find that more people haven't been screwed over by her, but they just don't want to say anything, because when you have that much power, it's hard for someone to go against that.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Probably a lot of, probably non-disclosures too. Like think about the Diddy thing.
Oh, 100%. Right?
Oh yeah.
Like, well, and she's tied up in that too. Well, Lou Taylor is tied up in that as well.
I didn't even know.
So is Robin Greenhill. Oh my gosh, you guys. Lou Taylor was a business manager for Diddy, and Robin Greenhill is the lady who was like, oh, she'll work on her birthday. She, in court documents, is the one who was paying off Diddy's hookers with cash. Like it's all a circle. It's all a circle.
Oh my
and
gosh.
she has way more power
at home.
And perhaps that's why Christina Aguilera hasn't popular. It could be.
Yes. I remember and Christina she doesn't answer questions about any other celebrity. Like, and that's one of the things that also kind of frustrates me with Christina. It's like, she was on Watch What Happens Live one time, and I don't know what the hell it is about her. She it doesn't register that people like togetherness and they like that warmness. And like Christina, it just doesn't register her. And so the question was, Andy Cohen was like, of the 4 pop princesses from the 90s, what is the one song from any of those girls that you could have stolen, made your own, and named Jessica Simpson, Mandy Moore, and Britney Spears? And instead of answering the question, Christina was like,
let's let Saige guess. What song do you think she picked?
She picked Breathe On Me, didn't she? Yeah. You guys, I'm locked in. I know my shit.
Yeah. She has definitely said Breathe On Me. And I will tell you, Breathe On Me is one of my favorite Britney Spears songs of all times. It's so Touch of My Hand is for me. That is that stays on my playlist. But anyways, yes. I
love Showdown.
And she has praised Showdown. Comes to the showdown. Goes around, comes around. Okay. No, she has said that she likes Breathe On Me, but in that specific answer, instead of giving the obvious person some kudos, which would have been Britney Spears, Christina was like, I don't really listen to pop music. If I were gonna like steal any song, I would have done like a Lauryn Hill or something. And I was like, that is such an ugh answer, Christina. I hate when she does that. She could have easily worked in a very nice compliment to Britney Spears, like in that moment, and she didn't do it. And like
well, that's
she
her
does
problem.
stuff like that like yeah, that's and I get
that's
like
why
I
people
get why
like
the
Britney
perception's
more.
out there. Yeah, I get why the perception's out there. Trust me, I get it. I don't know what that is about Christina. Even at the Latin Grammys, I remember like initially like the hate that she got online, and I just thought, Christina, just answer the damn question. Just say like answer it.
Well,
But you know,
I remember that. I remember seeing that and being like, she
sometimes.
didn't say anything like. I definitely think
did.
Britney Spears took that out of context, or maybe it was provided to her out of context, because I was like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
I didn't understand any of that. But there are things. I think one thing we were talking about earlier and you got cut off was the big VMA performance. And there's a lot to that I feel she really shot herself in the foot, because it's like, how are you going to go on some interview 2 days later and say like they needed a gimmick for this performance when you did that exact same gimmick? And like, I'm sorry, but Britney Spears and Madonna don't have control over where the camera is panning during these performances. I have no doubt that it was pre-decided, but I don't think it was by them, because otherwise there was no point in her kissing Christina at all. But how are you going to go and say that? And then it's like, and like Britney Spears, the one time I think she's really like been like, what the fuck, is like she kissed her too, so you can't say that. Like you can't, like that's one very specific example of where it's like, dude, you just like, you look like a hypocrite. You kissed her too. It's sorry you didn't get your moment. And I think had it been, I MTV shady, I don't know, but like it should have been a big moment for all three of them. And I understand why you're bitter, but it's not because of Britney or Madonna that happened.
And I know exactly what you're talking about. And when that posted, I was kind of like, oh, Christina, I was like, why did you have to go there? But like, at least in my eyes, like it's great to hear the way that it was received from the Britney Spears side. Like in my eyes, I thought she was being more critical of MTV being gimmicky, not Britney and Madonna. So, but it definitely was taken that way. But I think what made the situation worse is like in that same interview, like a couple questions later, they asked about In the Zone and specifically Me Against the Music, and Christina was just like, oh, it's just like this bowling pin formation. Like she really tore that song up.
Paul Hunter video.
Yeah, Christina Aguilera was just not nice to Britney. But again,
and
to your point, Saige, it's a point. It came right after like another Britney question, right? Like they were asking, why does Britney get all the attention for that and you didn't, Christina? And then she's like, then Christina probably feels insecure, and like I've got to like figure out a way to like again get this person to stop talking about Britney Spears. And so she says the most unpleasant thing that she can think of to like, and then also, when you're doing interviews like that, if you say something shady, you're going to grab a headline or two.
Totally.
So like if you're out there having to promote a tour and you want your name in the headlines, Britney Spears is a fabulous way to do it. You know what I mean? And I think Lady Gaga knows that. And I think a lot of other people know that. And so they use like Britney Spears as like a way to like get their name in that thing. Because Britney is a mega, like she is, even to this day, she hasn't released an album in 10 years, but she's still in like the top 100 most streamed artist or something like that. She's definitely has more streams than Christina does on a monthly basis. And not only does Britney Spears have that, like if Britney Spears puts out something, it's gonna sell. Like it's just that girl's name is money. She's very like popular. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of opportunistic things too that like maybe Christina did early on in her career that I don't think paid off in the long run. And that was, I know exactly what interview you're talking about, and I hate that interview. I hate that interview so much.
I think so. In debut, she had the PR trained answer, which she said for the longest time in all the interviews. I think as time comes, I love Britney. We grew up together. We're friends. I think as time goes by, you'll see that our artistry our paths will change. And we offer two different things. Stripped is when she was shady / she didn't give a fuck, and so that's when so what started this whole conversation was,
remember like the I fucked Britney
I posted
Spears
that clip.
thing that she wore.
Did she?
Yeah, she had like a pin that said that. Yeah.
Okay, and
She's
so
just asking for it.
But that clip, which I posted, it was a 23-year-old clip of an interview that Christina did. And it's where she's talking about Me Against the Music and how she wouldn't collaborate with Madonna at that current time, but maybe a previous iteration of Madonna. In the comments, they're pretty vile. And it's like, this is also another thing, a discussion topic. How is it, we're all approaching, if not already 40. Why are gay men like this?
I think it's
I don't know.
I think
let's
it's
grow
a little
up.
bit in our nature. I think like amongst each other, when we're in our like little gay circles, do we not read each other sometimes?
Yeah.
Christian, you've done it to me several times on this podcast already. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's fun to kind of tease each other a little bit. I think that's kind of like part of like gay men culture already. You see it a lot in drag culture with like reading and stuff. So I think there's a little funness to being shady. But yeah, for me at least, I find myself doing it too, even at my age. When I see like some comments about Christina that I just think are unfair, I'll have to stop myself from like saying something back. But my indiscretions are solemnly based off of like the defense. I would never ever go to a Britney Spears' like fan site or to a Britney Spears page and try to drag her or say something nasty about her. I've seen the things that have come out about Britney Spears, especially with like the videos that she chooses to share now of her like dancing and like being free and a human. And I've seen people like make fun of her, and I've never co-signed to that. You know what I mean? So like, for me at least, my ugly moments come in response to ugly things that are being just like put out there. If Christina puts out like an album, or she puts out like a photo shoot, and like someone has something just off the cuff to say about her, sometimes I'll say something, and then I kind of hate it that I said it. You know what I mean? But like I'll just like say it in the passionate moment because I love her too, and probably a lot like the Britney Spears fans, I feel like there's like a sense of me that like wants to protect her, but then I realize like Christina doesn't need to be protected. She's got this. If she showed us anything over these years being stone cold, Christina's got this. So like she doesn't need me. So I think that's kind of the thing, at least for me.
Yeah. And I also feel like, Britney fans feel like they need to protect her, and I'm not one. I mean, if someone says something mean, I don't clap back at people because I just don't see the point. I think everyone should just be nice to each other. I don't know why like the internet is so toxic, but obviously it is. And I mean, don't you guys think it's so wild that the only perception we have of Britney Spears right now is through her Instagram? It's like the craziest thing.
Good point.
Think about how different the narrative would be about her right now if she did not have Instagram. It's like night and day.
It should be great.
Like absolutely.
Because she could just do whatever she wanted.
Yeah. And so I don't know what the deal is with that. There's so many people who think she's AI and it's not her. And I'm like, no, you guys are delusional.
I've seen that.
Literally delusional. No PR team in their right minds would allow any of this out. If AI or not, like it's not helping her brand. And I think that's what she wants. I don't think she wants to be a brand anymore. So she's just doing whatever the hell she wants. People saying she's AI are delusional. The Britney army sometimes can just get way too defensive and come up with the craziest. Is that when we call them
the toxics?
No, I didn't approve that. No stamp of approval from
not
over here.
Approved,
but
Christian.
I do think like sometimes people like to come up with their own narratives, but at the end of the day, really all we have on her right now is her Instagram. That's all we see. So I think a lot of people thought Britney Spears would come out of this conservatorship and immediately put out an album, immediately be our perfect pop princess. And it's not the case. And this is where she's at right now. And I think a lot of people can't accept that. And that's what's sad to me, because it's like you guys are just amplifying the negative narrative around her, and it's just like, honestly, like leave her alone. And like, do I wish Britney didn't have Instagram? Absolutely. Like, I don't think it's, I wish she just had her own like private Instagram where she could do whatever. It's not. And like, honestly, like especially for someone who's been doing, she's been criticized her whole life, and now she's been handed her phone and she can see what people are saying about her. And it's like, this can't be good, but I am not her. And like, she should live her life however she wants to. But I think people, for the most part, are just in denial that this is where she's at right now. And we need to accept that and support that and not come up with the craziest ideas to avoid their delusion. Like, she's not going to be that girl ever again. And I wish that
she doesn't owe you anything because you bought an album. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
and I feel like
she doesn't owe anyone anything.
Do you think after, so like we kind of touched on it earlier about how, like, every gay has their queen, that it's through your, maybe that's why everybody's so protective of, the Christina, Ariana, Britney. But, I feel like they gravitate towards their singular female artist, and they kind of, would you say, like, vicariously live through that artist. And so maybe that's why each person is like so protective of their artist.
I mean, maybe, but also like with that, like with what I just said, like that, who we see Britney Spears as today is not the same person that we grew up with. She's, she's been through shit. Like, she's traumatized. Like, I think.
Oh yeah.
But I do feel like, we're all of us people who love Britney, who, we consider Britney Spears our girl. It's like, yeah, I accept where she's at right now, and I still love her, and I still wish the best for her, and I still think she is fully, I mean, not even that, like, I just appreciate her, and I fully think one day, if she wanted to, she could have the biggest comeback of all time, but I don't know that she ever wants to do that again.
Why not? Hillary
and I think that a lot of people are in this spot right now where they're like, did you just say Hillary Duff?
Yes. Did you not hear about her Atlantic Records thing?
I did.
For sure, Britney.
I love Hillary Duff, but
Hillary Duff,
I think there's episode. I think a lot of people are in such denial because they're like, well, she's not the Britney that I loved, and it's like, okay, well then move the fuck on. Like, she doesn't need you. Go to Christina.
And the same with
I don't know.
Like, well, the same with Christina.
Girl.
They won't like all the yelling.
It's just like,
but the same with Christina. So like, but the same with Christina the Fighters. It's like, why isn't she releasing,
it's the same
album
thing
after album every, it's like, she's not doing that. She hasn't done that in so many years.
And she doesn't have to
other things.
either. She doesn't have to.
Yeah.
So one thing I do think about Christina Aguilera is still one of the legendary pop stars. Like, she's still there's a very tight list of just female pop performers, the greatest of all time. You've got your Whitney Houstons, you've got your Madonnas, Mariahs, Britneys. I would argue that Christina Aguilera is on that list too. And so there's no competition here. Like, there doesn't need to be a constant competition between the two. It's just, I do think for a while, Christina set herself up for that competition. And unfortunately, people have not been able to move on. But whether you like it or, I would not put Jessica Simpson on that list. I would not put Mandy Moore on that list. They're they're talents, and they've got their own space, but they're not the legendary pop stars. But I would argue that Christina Aguilera, if there was like a top 20, I would put Christina Aguilera on that list as well. I'd rank Britney Spears higher, but that's just because it's my taste. Okay. But it doesn't, there needs not be all this like animosity and competition between the two, because people won't let things go. Yes, Christina Aguilera has done some shitty things. Britney Spears, we just don't hear about it. I don't know. For all we know, Britney Spears could have like put her head in the toilet, and we just don't know. Like, it's just crazy how these people act on the internet. And especially during all the free Britney stuff, it was so eye-opening to see like, wow, people can really, really take things so far on the internet for what? Some likes and some follows and some clicks. It's absolutely ridiculous. And they're both legends, okay? And it doesn't matter who has the most Spotify followers or listens every month. She's still, what I will say, I said it earlier about Christina, that is so interesting, is like, she's never gone away. She's always been doing something. She's always been I don't want to say relevant because that's a word that people will twist. She's been what?
Yeah.
She's always
her
been
lube line.
Lube.
Okay, yes. And like she was on X Factor for so long. She's had really big hit songs with other artists.
Let me clarify this because the podcasters will, be crazy. The Voice.
The Voice. Sorry. Britney was X Factor, right?
You're good.
Okay, my bad.
X Factor.
Yeah,
whatever.
Britney was X Factor.
Same thing. But
also,
she's always
don't bring
been
up Melanie Martinez. Anybody?
Oh.
Who?
Who?
Exactly.
But she's still like one of the greats. Like Christina Aguilera, I'm sure she's one of the top selling female artists of all time, right? Like she has to be.
Yeah.
And so is Britney Spears.
Yes.
They can live in the same world and it'd be fine. I would say though, if Christina is trying to have a big moment, now is her time because Britney's on her break. Why not take advantage of that? And that I'm not knocking her for that. This is a really great opportunity for her to have another big musical moment because Britney Spears isn't working right now. So there's nothing that people can, compare it to. Right. And it's like, this is your time, girl, for sure. But I do think Christina Aguilera has enough talent and legendary status that she could have another really big album. A big one.
Totally.
And I hope
she would get with
fucking
Britney.
Fantastic.
Yeah, she does. I wish that her and Britney could come together and do something. You know what I mean?
Like they just did a talk show together.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Do you remember that?
I don't think it needs to be musical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be musical. It doesn't even have to be just to do something to come together. And I feel like there was a spark there that I feel like Christina was trying to do that.
Crush.
Maybe a little bit. Who knows?
Maybe.
But I feel like there was a little spark there.
Heard Christina gets into that.
She
used to.
She definitely was talked about it. But I don't know. I just think it would be awesome for them to do it because do you remember that moment that Lady Gaga and Christina Aguilera had where they came together on The Voice? Yeah, and they did that song.
It should have been bigger.
The newcomer.
Yeah, it should have been bigger. But think about it.
Yes.
They the Lady Gaga fans and Christina fans were at each other's throat. They were
totally.
The biggest and that squashed that whole thing. It's non-existent anymore because Christina Aguilera and Lady Gaga went up there and cheers with champagne glasses and put that whole thing to rest. And I kind of just wish that Christina and Britney just instead of playing into it, that they would just come together and just be look, I've got love for this girl. We were kids, we grew up together in this industry. We may not be best of best friends, but come together and form something. Now that you guys are women and you're in this industry, and they probably face a lot of the same things, they probably have a lot in common. And it's just sad that the powers that being always seems to pit them against each other. And I hate that. I do think that it's a little bit of, I do think Christina definitely played into it during the Stripped album. She played into that division thing. But definitely the media controlled that narrative a lot. And I'm sure there's people at their labels that were doing it.
I think both of them have said that very vocally. I think both of them have been it's not that deep.
I mean, have you ever been compared to a brother or a sister or a coworker? And it's just somebody that's outperforming you? You know what I mean? Honestly, it's the minute that someone does that, I look for a way to scratch my way out of that. And so I can only imagine and I only reference Pink because she spoke so, vocally about, she wrote a song about it, right? Where I'm tired of being compared to damn Britney Spears. She's so pretty. That's just not me, in that song that she wrote. And so if the executives at Pink, which Pink was never up with Britney and Christina, but if the executives were having conversations like that with an artist like Pink, that was marketed so urban, like Blackpink, think about what they were doing to Christina, because she was right there with Britney, right? So it's just well, you gotta outperform Britney. Britney's song just did this. Britney just broke a record. She had 1.3 million of her sophomore album sell, while Christina's first album was still in rotation. So it's just you know what I mean? I can only imagine what that did to Christina mentally. So that's the only thing I can really think of. But I just wish that they she wouldn't play into that and just kind of came together and they did something that worked. I will say this too. I was so nervous when Britney Spears wrote her memoir because I was as a Christina fan, I was she's going to tear Christina up. And I thought that it was such a big thing of Britney Spears to not take that bait. And like she didn't say anything bad about Christina Aguilera at all in that memoir. And I'm sure the people who were helping her write that book were like, give us something on Christina. Give us something. You know what I mean? Poor Justin, R.I.P. Justin Timberlake. He got tore up.
Poor Justin.
In that.
Poor Justin. He deserves every bit of shade that comes his way.
But Christina, like, she was very sweet to Chris. I think she was very nice to Christina in the book, and
it was neutral.
Just thought that was very. I thought that was very big of Britney, especially because she could have.
Yeah, totally.
I'm sure she could have said something. So I don't know. Yeah, and like my closing thoughts are like I love Britney Spears as well. I enjoy her music. My favorite Britney Spears songs are ones that she didn't even release as singles. Like I really love, I love the Femme Fatale album, but like Unusual You.
Me too.
I love that song. Inside Out. I love, I love, He About to Lose Me, and like she like took that off the set list on that tour, and I was like so mad. But yeah, just I would just say like I wish that. I guess my wish is that like somehow like Christina and Britney Spears fans could kind of let go some of that drama and like not play into like that narrative, and then just figure out a way to enjoy each other's music. It's just like I've been doing for years. I enjoy Britney's music. I've seen her live. I have a blast every time I go. I never regret it. I just, yeah, my thoughts are really kind of togetherness, you know what I mean? And I hope that's what will happen in the future.
Yeah, I think there's an opportunity for them to be like, the same thing began to happen with like Rihanna and Beyonce, but they shut that down pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know, why can't they both exist? Everything that's happened is in the past. They've both grown so far from where they were, and we can appreciate the artists that they are.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Absolutely. And again, I am a Britney Spears fan till the end, but I've always liked Christina. Even during I was still listening to Stripped, like I still was getting into that. I would say I'm not as familiar with her later works. But I'm here for it. I think she looks amazing. I think she's been killing it. She looks awesome. I would love for her to have a huge album again because I know she can. Now's the time. I would love to see her and Britney. I don't think musically, I just don't think it would work. But I think they could still do something great together. I don't think they ever hated each other as much as everyone thinks they did. I think their fans hate each other more than anything. And I've never really understood that because I think we should all just be nice people. There's no, like I said, they're both legends.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that Britney has sold, 50 million records more than her. It's like she's still an icon, and they both came up at the same time, which is rare to have two people, and like it's always like the four, right? Britney, Christina, Mandy Moore, Jessica Simpson. Two of them are legends, and it's those
I thought you were going to say Willa Ford.
Oh, well, I mean, she's got her own spot too, but she's not a legend.
I'm just kidding.
She has a great album, though. She has a great album.
Yeah, she does. That album was good.
It's good.
That's a good
Mandy
album.
Moore went her own way, and I think there's room for both of them, and I wish that people would just celebrate them both the same way, and hopefully we'll get to that point, but unfortunately we live in a psycho world, so it's like you're either Britney or Christina, and it's like, well, that's bullshit.
Choose a side. For me, like I want to see like I want to see a Britney Spears album. I hope she does music again. I think it's going to take a long time to repair that relationship, but I want to hear a Britney Spears music on her terms. Like I want a stripped from like Britney. Like I want to hear it all. I want to hear everything. Like tell me about your relationships. Tell me about your business dealings, all the people that you've like met that have done you wrong. Like I want to hear it all. Like so I hope that one day Britney blesses us with that, and I hope she gets back to music.
I feel like that's gonna be really hard for her to like write.
The world misses Britney.
And
really
the world
dark.
needs a Britney album.
They do. But I do always feel like Britney's realm of being a pop star was it's never been that deep. She likes to perform. She likes to have fun. And it's hard to have fun when you're talking about things like that, and I don't know that, I mean, it'd be awesome, right? But I don't know that she's ever been interested in doing that kind of music. I think she's always been about the performing and like people can move to this and have a great time. Like she's got very positive bops, right? But it would be cool. But I and whatever she wants to do, I'm here for it. I will support it. But I think she's always been kind of like, I just want to have fun. And I think, unfortunately, that has been killed for her because her passions were taken advantage of. So I don't know how someone could really get back into that, because it's like they ruined it for her, sort of, in my opinion. But we'll see. You never say never with Britney Spears.
Yeah. Or apparently Justin Bieber.
Oh my God! You know, it's so funny that you bring up Justin Bieber. I would love to see. I would love to see Britney and Justin Bieber do something together, because I think they have very similar stories, and they both like to dance and they like to have fun, and I think they would be great together.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna end this with some good and bad. What is your least favorite Britney song? I'm gonna say
the one with her sister. Oh, sorry. Okay. The one with her sister.
You go ahead. I didn't even know that she had one. Is it the country one?
It's a terrible song.
It's something. Yeah.
I laughed so much that I
totally
cried.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Mine is Blur, only because I have a thing about eyes, and in that she says something. I want to poke my eyes out, and I'm like, oh my God! Even the first time I listened to it, I just like covered my eyes, because like, why would you say that? I don't know. Scarred. Also, I don't understand why Radar was on Blackout and Circus, but
I'll tell you if you want to know.
I think there was like a promise, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a single on Blackout, but then they didn't put it. They didn't put it as a single. It was like a contract clause, so they had to put it on Circus to put it out as a single. Yeah.
See, I know my Britney Spears stuff too. I knew that. When someone asked
Radar
me,
was the weakest song on Blackout.
On both sides. Really?
It's a good song. It's a good song.
And I think
I can't stand Danger going like this for like 5 minutes.
No, I love that.
I hate that song. Oh my God. Blackout. I'm like, Danger, stop. That's the one song. Get Naked, I think it's called. Get Naked. I hate that song. I change it every time. I hate it.
Get naked.
He's just like, That's like so annoying.
No. What's your least favorite Christina song?
My least favorite Christina Aguilera song? I know.
Everybody, all of us.
Oh, wait, let me tell you my least favorite Britney Spears song.
Oh, I thought you picked the same one.
Oh my God, no, I didn't.
Go.
But that is
Your
a terrible
turn,
song.
Corey.
But because he picked that one, I'm going to pick a different one. My least favorite Britney Spears song, and this is going to be so controversial, is Lucky. I hate Lucky. Hate it.
It's not one of my favorites.
I hate the story. I hate the storytelling. I think it's a waste of Britney's talent. And then like also because there was like so many other songs on that album that should have been put out as a single. I am saying Lucky. Like Lucky, get out of here. It shouldn't have been a single. When there was like other tracks, I just think would have been fabulous. Okay.
I hate that she doesn't like Sometimes, because I love Sometimes.
I love Sometimes.
You always have.
Me too. Or the other one, Born to Make You Happy, is like it's like quintessential 90s ballad. Like I love it. Those are my two favorites on her. But okay, go ahead. Next question.
Yes. Least favorite Christina song.
Oh gosh, I don't think it's fair for me to answer that question because I haven't heard her last few albums.
Well, I can answer for us both. I'm gonna say
you can pick two.
Probably Shut Up. I just think that song on Lotus. It's just like it's just kind of like really like negative and like it doesn't really go anywhere. And I don't know. I don't like it. It's negative.
Oh well, we'll just let everybody know that Corey is no longer with us. Let's pray for him. Anyway. Why
He'll be back,
do you not like?
Okay, so Fighter. I have such bad. I used to do competitive cheerleading, and there were 2 times where like they would always play like a song when the team would like walk out before they did their routines. And one time they played Fighter by Christina Aguilera, and this girl blew out her knee after that performance or during it. And then another time we just had like a disastrous routine at nationals or something, and it was Fighter, and I was like, that song is Jinx, so that has to be my least favorite only because of that. But also I can't tell you anything of like the later work, so I'm gonna go with Fighter. Sorry.
That works. It's a good reason too. That trauma.
Bad memories.
Okay, so now you get to prove your, I guess, fandom. But what is your favorite Britney song, like deep cut, like what everybody should go listen to right now?
Yeah. Ooh, a deep cut. So not a single, I assume is what you mean.
Right. Totally. Anything else?
I'm gonna say Can't Make You Love Me is one that I love. And I love Cinderella.
Oh my gosh. That makes me think of Bombastic Love.
Oh, I love that one too. And I love Brave Girl. Brave New Girl. No one likes that one.
Yes. No, I love that one.
But my favorite Britney song in general is controversial. It's Hold It Against Me.
Yeah, I guess so. No,
oh
it's
my
a good
God.
Song.
Hold It
But
Against
why is
Me.
It controversial?
Because people like always shit on that album. And I think it's like her best.
Oh, Femme Fatale is really good.
It's so good. 10 out of 10.
Had a lot of hits.
Yeah, production value.
Yes. So then that's the conclusion of our episode. Go listen to his recommendations. Thank you so much for being on this episode. It was great to have this discussion. Hopefully people will grow from this because there's a lot of like a childishness online.
Absolutely.
And both fandoms need to get over it.
They do.
And also we need to just talk about Britney Spears on some other episode because that's a lot of fun.
Of course.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.